If you have a small workshop and you're thinking of ways to better organize your tools, then this is the video for you. I will show you how you can make a grab and go tool wall for your power tools using French cleats. So these are the pallets that I've picked out to extend my French cleat wall. So keep watching to get organized with your power tools.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
So let's grab a pencil and a speed square and start making the cleats. So I began by marking out the pallets so they can be cut all to the same size, and I'm using one as the model piece so I can replicate the exact length for each of the pallets. Now let's get them cut and ready for the next step. Now let's give them a quick sand over to get rid of any splinters. All pieces are now cut and sanded, and now let's get ready to make the 45-degree cut on the table saw. This is the part that actually makes the cleats. That's the 45-degree cut done, and now let's put it onto the wall. Just a quick check that it's straight. I'm happy with that. Now let's keep going. I'm using 2 screws instead of 1, as the pallets are actually wide enough to take 2 screws, and it reduces any chance of any play or movement once the cleat is on. This is the spacer that I am using to have everything evenly spaced out. Let's get them up on the wall quickly so we can start making the tool holders. I am putting in further slats behind the French cleat pieces to remove any movement, as there is a gap between the back wall and the French cleats, so this will act as a spine and remove any movement. I am using further screws to strengthen the wall, as the tools can get heavy. To make the circular saw holder, first I used a scrap piece for the back and used other pieces of scrap pieces on the sides around the base plate to have a snug exact fit. I am using angled cut pieces to have space behind the piece that you see me drilling, so the circular saw blade has enough space to sit inside. I've also cut out a notch for the blade guard to sit inside. This can easily be done with a jigsaw. I've added a scrap piece at the bottom, as you can see, just so there isn't movement as I raise it, as that can lift off with it. Now I don't have to look for my circular saw every time I want to use it. For this holder, I am making a platform for the router to sit on using these angled cut scrap pieces that I'm screwing in right now. Using the same method, I am making a shelf at the top of this holder for the router bits to sit on, and also a small caddy for accessories such as the router collets and router flush trim bits to sit inside. I'm using brad nails as opposed to screws for the platform piece that you see me nail gunning right now, and that is enough strength for the router to sit on. Now the actual French cleat that will be screwed to the back for it to hang onto the French cleat wall, this is the same method for all these holders. Just mark out your length and make the cut and screw them in. To add a finishing touch to this router station, I added a pin nail for the router spanner to sit inside. This is used to swap out the router bits, so definitely didn't want to lose that. And these extra bits that you see, I've made this caddy that I've mentioned before. Now that is everything I need on my router station, so everything I need is just an arm's length away.
Hey, I am eating sawdust. Look, sawdust. Daddy, look behind you, a spider web.
As my daughters were trying to scare me with eating sawdust and a spider web, I managed to start making the holder for my electric hand planer. For this one, I am also using angled cut scrap pieces which will act as the holder for the planer to sit on. Simply just butt them up, hold them with one hand and drill the screws from the other. This will be the back plate where the French cleat will be attached. Here you'll notice I'm making sure one screw goes inside the shelf and the other two screws goes inside the brackets to make the shelf extra strong to take the weight of the planer. So as you noticed, my little helpers could not stop hovering around, so I decided they can help Daddy with this project. As you can tell, this one was a pretty simple holder, so very easy to make, very neat. Now let's move on to the next one. To begin this one, I marked out the size of the plate, cut that out, and now I've just marked where the blade will go sit inside. So every time if I want to use my jigsaw or take it off, I don't have to think about the blade can go straight sitting through that hole. As you saw, I used a force and a bit to make this hole, and I believe that would be the best tool to use to make this hole quick. As the top piece is sitting on top of the side pieces, it doesn't need screws for added strength. Brad nails would do just fine. This little box that I'm making will be used to store the jigsaw blades. This is the back plate where the French cleat will be screwed into at the top. At this point, as you can hear, my battery had died, so I had to get the bigger drill out to finish the task. Now I'm securing the cleat with 3 screws as it will be holding a lot of weight. Here I am adding 2 scrap pieces with wood glue to make sure when the jigsaw sits on the shelf there isn't any movement and it sits much more flush. Now let's apply some pressure for the glue to dry. Now let's put it up on the wall and see how it functions. I will also make a holder for the cords to be wrapped around for all the corded power tools. Now let's test and showcase all the holders. I'm happy how the tool holders are very strong against the French cleat wall. As I lift off each power tool, there isn't any movement from the tool holders. Hope I helped you guys get organized in your workshop, and remember to give this video a thumbs up and remember to subscribe not to miss out any future uploads and amazing projects that are coming up. Thank you for watching.